In this video, I'm revealing the key to real muscle growth. Don't skip, the part you need is coming. Stay till the end. One small tip can transform your gains forever. Watch closely. Most people miss this, and that's why their muscles don't grow. Welcome back to Global Fit Journey. Before we jump in, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss the powerful fitness tips we drop every week. Let's grow stronger together.
Today, we are going to unlock the single most important principle for getting stronger. Seriously, it's a concept so powerful it's been used for thousands of years, and by the end of this, you'll know exactly how to use it.
Okay, so let's get real for a second. You've been hitting the gym, you are putting in the work, but you look in the mirror and not much is changing. It is one of the most frustrating feelings, right? You start wondering, is it me? Am I just not cut out for this? But what if I told you the reason has nothing to do with how motivated you are, or even the genes you were born with?
What if the solution isn't some brand new workout app or some super complicated diet plan? What if it's actually ancient wisdom? A secret that's been passed down for generations that explains exactly how the human body is forced to adapt, to change, to get stronger.
And the core of this whole idea, it's captured perfectly in this ancient legend about a man who developed just, well, superhuman strength. He didn't have any special equipment or anything like that. All he had was a really simple plan and a growing baby calf. That story holds the key to everything. So let's start there. First up, an ancient strength secret known as the legend of the bull. So the legend goes something like this. A young man wanted to become the strongest person in his entire land. His plan was ridiculously simple. He found a newborn calf and he lifted it. The next day, he did it again. And again the day after that. See, each day the calf grew just a little bit heavier, and each day his body had to adapt, getting just a little bit stronger to meet that new challenge. And this went on until eventually that little calf was a fully grown bull, and he was still lifting it. Simple, right? But also kind of profound.
Now, that incredible feat of strength, that wasn't magic. Not at all. It was actually a perfect real-world demonstration of a physiological principle that we now call progressive overload. So let's break down what that actually means.
Progressive overload. It sounds kind of technical, but it just means you have to consistently make your workouts harder over time. That's it. The man in the legend didn't just keep lifting a baby calf forever, right? The challenge grew, and so his strength had to grow with it. Your body works the exact same way.
You know, you gotta think about it. Your body is an incredibly efficient machine. Its main goal is to conserve energy. So it has literally zero reason to build bigger, stronger muscles if it doesn't absolutely have to. You have to give it a reason. You have to present it with a challenge it's not used to, forcing it to say, whoa, okay, this is tough. I better get stronger so I can handle this next time. And this is what happens when you ignore that principle. If you go to the gym and you lift the same 10-pound dumbbells for 10 reps week after week after week, your body adapts to that challenge exactly once. After that, it has no reason to change. You've hit a plateau. Same input, same output, same body, same results. This is the entire secret. Right here on the screen. Increase the demand and you force the body to adapt. That's the formula. Your only job in the gym, really, is to find a way to consistently increase the demand. That sends the signal to your body that, hey, we need to get stronger for whatever's coming next. So how do you actually do this? Well, the most obvious way is to just add more weight. You know, just like the growing calf. But that's not the only way. You could aim for just one more rep than last time. You could perform your reps more slowly, increasing the time your muscles are under tension. Or you could just focus on perfecting your form, making the exercise more difficult and more effective. Any of these will increase the demand.
All right, let's talk about how this becomes your transformation key.
I want you to forget about finding the so-called perfect workout plan. It doesn't exist. Progressive overload applies to any routine you choose. This is about a new mindset. It's simple. When you walk into the gym, your goal is to beat your last performance, even if it's just by one single pound or one extra rep. That's the game. And I really want you to let that sink in, because once this idea clicks for you for real, you will never look at your workouts the same way again. Every single session becomes a new opportunity for a small, measurable victory. And those little victories, they build over time into a massive transformation. So that's the principle. Your body is an adaptation machine. It is literally just waiting for a challenge. So the only question left is, what are you going to do in your next workout to give it a new reason to grow? The answer to that question will define your results. Okay, let's talk about the one thing that silently sabotages muscle growth for so many people. It's not really about what you're doing in the gym, but what you're not doing. If you feel like your progress has just completely stalled out, you're about to find out the one simple habit that honestly changes everything.
You know that feeling, right? You're showing up, you're being consistent, you're putting in the work, day in and day out. But it just feels like you slammed into a brick wall. All that awesome progress you saw when you first started, poof, gone. You're looking at your log, or maybe you don't have one and you're just remembering. And you realize you're benching the same weight for the third week in a row. Your squat hasn't budged in a month. It is so frustrating to pour all that energy into your workouts and feel like you're just spinning your wheels. So what's the missing piece here? Well, the answer is in this core principle of pretty much all strength training. And no, it's not some new fancy exercise you saw on social media. It's all about unlocking the power of something called progressive overload. The idea itself is actually super simple. Your body is incredibly smart. It adapts to whatever stress you put on it. So to force it to keep adapting, which, means getting bigger and stronger, you have to consistently give it a new challenge it isn't quite used to. But to really use this powerful principle, you need one surprisingly simple tool. And no, it's not some expensive powder or workout plan that's so complicated you need a math degree to figure it out. The solution is simpler, it's cheaper, and honestly, it's way more powerful than any of that stuff. In fact, you probably already have everything you need right now. This right here is the secret weapon, a simple logbook. Seriously, it could be a beat-up notebook or a fancy app on your phone, doesn't matter. You just need to track 4 little things: the weight you lifted, how many reps you got, the number of sets, and just a quick note on how hard it felt. This simple habit is the absolute foundation for all your future growth. So why is this simple act of just writing things down so powerful? How does it turn what looks like boring data into actual physical gains? Let's break down exactly how it works. First off, it gives you absolute clarity. All the guesswork is gone. Your logbook will show you weaknesses you might have been totally ignoring and points a big, bright arrow at where you need to improve. Maybe your pulling exercises are lagging behind your pushing ones. Your data will tell you. But maybe the best part is it creates this amazing motivational loop. Seeing in black and white that you lifted more or did just one more rep than last week, man, that is incredibly rewarding. It just makes you want to go and do it again. Now, let's see how this all comes together, because this is where the real magic happens. We almost always underestimate the incredible power of making tiny, consistent improvements over a long time. I want you to just for a second think about the absolute smallest improvement you could make in your next workout. I'm not talking about adding 20 pounds to the bar, something much, much smaller. Let's say your goal is this simple. On one of your main lifts, just get a single extra rep each week. That's it. It's a small, totally achievable goal that doesn't feel intimidating at all, right? Okay, so 1 extra rep. That might feel like nothing in the moment. You might not even notice it, but what happens when you hit that tiny goal week after week for a whole year? That one little rep, it compounds into 52 extra reps over the course of a year. That means you pushed your body past its old limits 52 separate times, 52 moments of progressive overload. That is the engine that drives growth, and it's all built from the smallest, most consistent efforts. So what you're creating with that simple logbook isn't just a diary of what you did. It's your personal blueprint for growth. It's a roadmap that tells you exactly where you've been, and more importantly, it tells you exactly what you need to do next to keep making progress. When it comes down to it, this is the simple, powerful truth. Forget the fads, forget the quick fixes. This disciplined, data-driven approach of tracking your work and aiming for these small, consistent improvements, this is how you build a physique that lasts. This is how real, sustainable, long-term muscle growth actually happens. So the real question isn't if you should start doing this, but where. Think about your very next workout. What's the one exercise, the one number you're going to write down with the goal of beating it next week? Because that small action right there is the first step to breaking through your plateau for good.
Today, we're going to dig into an ancient secret for building unbelievable strength. And I'm not just talking about in the gym, I mean in any part of your life. It all comes from a legendary story that starts with a simple question.
So let's just start right there. How is something truly massive, something genuinely unbelievable, actually built? Is it just one big heroic push, or is it something else? To figure that out, we've got to go way back in time. Our story kicks off, like so many great legends do, in ancient Greece. You know, a time of heroes, thinkers, and incredible athletes who were always pushing the limits of what a person could do. And among all these legends, there was this one wrestler, a guy whose name would be remembered for centuries because of his almost superhuman power. His name was Milo of Croton, a 6-time Olympic champion. But the real story here isn't just that he was strong, it's how he built that strength.
So, this brings us to the first part of the story, the wrestler and the calf. And it all starts with a task that sounds so simple, you might even think it's a little bit silly. The legend says that every single day, Milo would walk out, find a newborn calf, lift it up onto his shoulders, and just carry it around. That was it. That was the whole routine. But this right here is where the magic happens. It's in the daily transformation. You see, the real secret isn't in one single act of power, but in the unseen force of just showing up every single day. Because, of course, that little calf didn't stay little. Day by day, it grew. It went from the small, pretty easy to carry thing to a growing animal, then a young bull, and eventually, a giant, fully grown bull. And this is the absolute heart of the story. They were growing together. As the calf got just a tiny bit heavier each day, Milo's muscles had to adapt. They got just a little bit stronger to handle that tiny bit of extra weight. The change was so slow, he probably barely even noticed it. And what was the result of all this? Well, by the time that little calf had turned into a massive bull, Milo had transformed right along with it. He was now strong enough to lift a fully grown bull onto his shoulders, a feat that would look absolutely impossible to anyone else. It's an amazing story, for sure, but what does it actually teach us? Well, the answer is a really powerful principle that every single one of us can use. You see, Milo's method actually has a modern name, the principle of overload. This is basically us decoding the science behind the legend. Progressive overload is, well, pretty much what it sounds like. It's the idea that to get stronger, you have to consistently and gradually increase the stress on a system. It works because our bodies, and our minds too, are these incredible adaptation machines. You add just a little more weight or a little more challenge, and the system responds by getting stronger to meet that new demand. Milo didn't try to lift a bull on day one. He lifted a calf, and he let his body adapt one day at a time. So, the whole thing really boils down to this. Small increases, repeated consistently, create unbelievable strength. That's the entire secret. It's not about taking giant leaps. It's about those tiny, consistent steps forward. Which, of course, brings us to the most important part of all of this, lifting your own calf. How do we take this ancient wisdom and actually apply it to our lives today? Your calf is just that small, manageable thing you can do consistently. Want to learn a language? Don't try to memorize a whole dictionary, just learn one new word a day. Want to get fit? Add just 1 more minute to your workout. Read more? Just 1 extra page a night. Saving more money? Just $1 more per day. It's all about making the increase so small it feels almost too easy. And that is the ultimate takeaway. Real, lasting transformation doesn't come from a single moment of some superhuman effort. It comes from the accumulated power of thousands of small, consistent actions that you might not even notice at first. It's way less dramatic for sure, but it is infinitely more powerful. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Look at your own goals, your ambitions, the person you want to become. What is the one small thing you can start doing consistently? What calf will you decide to lift? Have you ever felt like you've just slammed into a brick wall with your workouts? You know, you're putting in all the effort, you're showing up, but you're just not seeing any real results? Well, if that's you, you're in exactly the right place. We're about to pull back the curtain on the single most important concept for unlocking consistent, predictable gains in the gym. So, does this feel familiar? You're being consistent, you're pushing yourself, but the numbers on the dumbbells, they just will not move. You feel like you're completely stuck on a plateau. And let's be honest, it is incredibly frustrating. The answer, the key to breaking through that wall, is a principle called progressive overload.
Now, I'm sure you've heard that term thrown around before, but here's the thing. Most people completely misunderstand what it actually means, and more importantly, how to use it the right way. Okay, so let's clear all that confusion up and build a solid foundation. Because once you really get this one core idea, everything else about getting stronger just clicks into place.
At its heart, the idea is so simple. You have to give your body a reason to change. Progressive overload is just the process of strategically, gradually increasing the stress you put on your muscles. And when you do that, you force them to adapt by getting bigger and stronger. It's not magic, it's biology. Simple as that. So you might be asking, if it's that simple, why isn't everyone doing it right? Well, it usually comes down to a few really common, totally growth-killing mistakes. So let's dive into what those are so you can make sure you're not making them. First up, the classic error, ego lifting. Man, that temptation to just stack on more and more weight is real. I get it, but it's a super fast way to get injured or just burn out, and it's definitely not the path to actual growth. Real, lasting progress is slow and steady. And that leads us right into mistake number 2. When you let your form get sloppy just to lift a heavier weight, you're not actually overloading the muscle you're trying to work. You're just cheating the rep by using momentum and other body parts. You gotta remember this. Good form is absolutely non-negotiable. Ooh, this is a big one. You don't actually build muscle in the gym. You build it when you rest. See, training breaks down your muscle fibers. It's the recovery, the sleep, and the good food that rebuilds them stronger than before. So skipping rest days is literally skipping your growth days. And here's another huge one. If you just wander into the gym with no real plan, well, how can you progressively overload anything? You have no baseline to improve from, you're just kind of exercising. Real progress demands a structured plan, so you can methodically up the challenge week after week. And this last mistake ties right into the previous one. If you aren't tracking your workouts, the weight, the sets, the reps, how on earth you know what to do next time to make it harder? You don't, you're just guessing. And guessing is not a strategy for growth. So, if you're feeling stuck, just look back at these 5 points. I'm willing to bet that one, or maybe even a few of these mistakes, is the exact reason your progress has ground to a halt. But, and this is the best part, the second you start fixing these mistakes, everything changes. I mean it. When you get smart and strategic with this stuff, you finally unlock that consistent, powerful muscle growth you've been working so hard for. So what does that path forward actually look like? Well, it's way simpler than you might think. You don't need some super complicated program. It really all boils down to a super simple 2-step plan. Okay, step 1, start tracking your workouts. Today. Just write down the exercise, the weight, the sets, and the reps you did. And step 2, every week, aim to add just one small, tiny challenge. That could be doing just one more rep or adding the smallest possible weight to the bar. That's it. That is the whole secret. Now think about the power of this idea. When you consistently apply that small, incremental pressure, you're sending your body a very clear signal. And when he gets that signal over and over again, it really has no other option. It has to adapt. It has no choice but to grow stronger. All right, so now you have the knowledge, you know the mistakes to avoid, and you know the super simple steps to take. So now it's time to actually put it into action. Let's make it a little challenge. The most important thing you can do is start right now. Don't put it off. I want you to pick one exercise, just one, that you're gonna focus on this week. You're gonna track it, and you're gonna find one small way to challenge yourself. Is it gonna be your bench press, your squats, your rows? Decide right now. Because building this small habit isn't just about one good workout, it's the key that unlocks a lifetime of progress.
Have you ever felt like you're just spinning your wheels at the gym? You show up, you put in the work, but nothing changes. The numbers just don't move. Well, that frustrating wall you've hit, it's called a workout plateau. And today, we're gonna talk about the single most important principle for absolutely smashing right through it.
So let's just get right into it, right? You're being consistent, you're sweating, you're doing everything you're supposed to do, but the results? They've just vanished. So why? What is the missing piece to this whole puzzle?
Okay, first, let's get to know the enemy a little better. We call it the plateau, and it's that moment when your body just seems to stop responding. All that hard work for, well, nothing.
So what does that actually feel like? Well, it's when those exercises that used to be a challenge are now just part of the routine. Your muscles have gotten smart.
They've adapted, and they've pretty much decided, hey, we don't need to get any stronger. In your strength, that personal best you were chasing, suddenly it feels like it's a million miles away. You're lifting the exact same weight for the exact same number of reps week in and week out. You're completely stalled out. So really, here's the bottom line. All that amazing, exciting forward momentum you had, poof, it's gone. It can honestly feel like you've hit a total dead end. And frankly, it's why so many people get discouraged and give up. But listen, it does not have to be this way.
All right, enough about the problem. Let's talk about the solution, because there is a very clear, very powerful principle that is literally designed to smash through these plateaus and keep you moving forward always.
And here it is, progressive overload. Now, this isn't just some fancy term for lifting heavier. Think of it as a system. It's a system that takes away all the guesswork, it gives your training actual structure, and it literally forces your body to adapt and get stronger. It has no other choice.
Now that all sounds great in theory, doesn't it? But let's get to the proof. Because when you actually apply this principle, the results, they aren't just noticeable, they're transformative.
Look, you've basically got two paths in front of you. On one path, you're training without this principle. That's the road to the plateau we just talked about, where your workouts just stop working. But the other path, that's the game changer. That's the path to consistent, undeniable, and visible transformation.
So what does that transformation actually look like? Well, for starters, you start gaining strength consistently, maybe even every single week. Because of that, your muscles grow faster. You're always giving them a new reason to. And maybe the best part of all, your workouts actually feel exciting again. You walk into the gym with a clear mission.
And look, this isn't some kind of fitness industry secret or a magic trick. There's a really clear logic to why this works so well. And it all boils down to one simple, beautiful idea: the end of guesswork.
The logic is so simple. First, it completely removes guesswork. You know exactly what you lifted last week, so your only job this week is to do just a little bit more. That simple goal creates structure. Your fitness journey stops being this random walk in the dark and becomes a clear, planned-out path forward. So, when all is said and done, what's the one big thing you need to take away from all this? Well, it comes down to a promise. A promise that very few things in life, let alone in fitness, can actually offer. Just let that sink in. It guarantees progress. This isn't about wishing for results anymore. It's about making them inevitable. But, and this is a big but, that last part is crucial, if you do it right. So what does that mean? It means you track your workouts. You always aim to beat your last performance. Maybe that's adding one more rep, a tiny bit more weight, or just perfecting your form. That is doing it right. Which brings us right here to our final question for you. Understanding this principle completely changes the game. It puts the power back in your hands. You no longer have to just hope for progress, you now have the tool to demand it. So, are you ready to stop guessing and start guaranteeing your results?
All right, let's talk about something that every single person who works out eventually runs into, the dreaded plateau. You know, that point where it feels like you're just stuck. Your progress has totally stalled out. Well, today we're going to dig into why that happens, and more importantly, how you can systematically break right through it. So you feel like you're hitting a wall? Super frustrating, I get it, but what's really going on? Well, your body's an incredible adaptation machine. When you challenge it, it responds by getting stronger. A plateau isn't a sign that you're failing, it's actually a sign that your body has successfully adapted to what you've been doing. It's gotten comfortable, the challenge just isn't there anymore.
And yeah, that's when you feel stuck. You show up, you go through the motions, you're lifting the same weight for the same number of reps, and week after week, nothing changes. It is the #1 killer of motivation. But what if the key to breaking through wasn't some massive, crazy overhaul, but actually just a series of tiny, strategic tweaks?
And this, right here, this is the core idea. The secret to getting stronger isn't some complex program that only the pros use. It's a simple principle called progressive overload, which is just a fancy way of saying you gradually increase the stress on your muscles over time so they're forced to keep adapting. It's all about being just a little bit better than you were last time. Okay, so how do we actually do that? I want you to think about it like this. You have 5 different levers you can pull at any time to create a new challenge for your body. This is how you make sure you're always moving forward. So let's break down exactly what they are. And here they are, your 5 clear paths to making progress. We're about to walk through each one, but just seeing them all laid out like this shows you how many options you really have. You're never truly stuck. You just have to decide which lever to pull. Let's start with the most obvious one, right? Increasing the weight. The rule here is incredibly simple. Once you can lift your current weight for all your target reps and you're doing it with good, clean form, it's time to go up. Even just adding 1 or 2 kilograms, that is a huge win. That's real, tangible progress you can see.
But what if adding more weight isn't really an option right now? Or maybe the next jump up in dumbbells feels way too heavy? No problem at all. That's when you pull lever number 2. You just increase your reps. If you hit 10 reps on an exercise this week, your entire goal for next week is to get 11, maybe even 12. That tiny addition is a brand new signal that forces your body to adapt. All right, lever number 3 is all about your total volume. So, let's say you normally do 3 sets of squats. Next week, your goal is to do 4. Just by adding 1 extra working set, you've significantly increased the total demand on your muscles for that workout, and you're giving them a powerful new reason to grow stronger.
Now this one is a fascinating lever, improving your form. This is a way to make progress without adding any weight, reps, or sets. Actually, you might even have to lower the weight to do it right. When you focus on a cleaner technique, like a deeper squat or a fuller range of motion, you create more effective tension on the muscle. Here, it's all about the quality of the work, not the quantity.
And our final lever is a fantastic one, increasing your time under tension. Basically, this just means making your muscles work harder for longer during every single rep. You can do this by slowing the movement way down, maybe pausing for a second at the bottom where the muscle is fully stretched, and really controlling the weight instead of just letting gravity do all the work. It's an absolute game changer for building strength.
So, we've got these 5 really powerful levers you can pull, but they all operate under one single golden rule. This is the key that makes all of this actually work, week in and week out.
This is it. This is the entire philosophy in a nutshell. It's not about adding 20 kilograms to your bench press in 1 week. It's about adding 1 kilogram, or 1 more rep, or just having slightly better form, week after week. That relentless consistency, that's where the magic really happens.
So the most important point is this: don't get overwhelmed. You don't have to pull all 5 of these levers at once. In fact, you really shouldn't. Just pick one. Your only job each week is to show up and be slightly better than last time in one small way. That is the engine that drives long-term strength.
So I'll leave you with this. Take a look at these 5 options and think about your own routine. As you're planning your next workout, ask yourself this simple question: what is the one small improvement I'm going to make this week? Which lever are you going to pull?